All right, guys, I'll jump into this real quick. We timing's everything, right? I mean, last week we were talking about the Durand coaching situation, and as we were recording, they went behind closed doors and they gave Coach John Webb another chance with some stipulations. He has to sit out a game, but he's back coaching the team. Finally, cooler heads prevailed and some common sense, got it worked out. Any thoughts on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of laid it all out last week, and then if people haven't seen it on social media or read any other articles or anything, they have more details than maybe what we're about to say. But like we said, it does seem like it's a situation that they maybe jumped the gun on the initial decision. It should have maybe just said, "Hey, let's all get together. Let's talk about what happened. Let's watch the video of maybe what happened, and then come to a solution before we do something drastic." Because it does now seem like they made the correct decision. But, it's a shame that it got to this point, that it got like so almost like dirty, so, animated, so the animosity and stuff like that, in the community, because it is cool to have small communities, the close knitness of small communities. And now you don't want something like this to tear people apart, or now there's going to be a lot of gossip or back talking and, stuff like that. And hopefully everyone can kind of just put this behind them, move on, and let Durand keep rolling down the train tracks like they're doing with John Webb. But it is one of those things that hopefully it also, and I don't know all the details, and I'm not saying anything bad about what Coach Webb did, because it sounds like he handled things as correctly as he could have. But hopefully it is one of those things that makes people think like concussions, it is an issue that people need to be aware of, like it turned into, I saw some of the posts on Facebook. It turned into like people were making political statements or whatever about it. And it's a shame that it turned into that. But it's like, we talked about it a little bit last week, Ted, back in our day. And, even when I was playing, definitely when you were playing, probably a lot of concussions were handed out. You shook the cobwebs off and you went out there and played. And now we know that's not good, so that's not good. So hopefully it's one of those things that like, is that what happened in that game with Durand? I'm not saying that, but hopefully maybe it's like so maybe we do need to keep a closer eye on that, because maybe this kid did need to sit out a little bit and get some further evaluation, so, maybe it just, hopefully it like brings some positivity, type of thing. Like, okay, maybe we need to look at things a little closer than what they did. But
the one thing that cracks me up about it, and I don't know all the details. We don't.
Right.
Like, why is he suspended for a game still? Like, it's almost like they just had to get like a twist of the knife.
Yeah, probably. Again, they go behind closed doors and not in the open meeting. So who knows what went on there? And I'm sure none of the parties will talk about it. But it's good to see him back.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all. At the end of the day, that's top 10. That's all time. Good news. He's back, and we can move on.
Absolutely. Right. Now, looking at some of the other scores and games in girls basketball, I'm going to start out with here. I thought I was seeing things. Ovid Elsie beat Mount Morris 93-3. Did you get to see that?
No.
93-3. How is this possible?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Choke.
I'm sure Mount Morris's solution will be to let's dilute it to 8 divisions so we can compete. I don't know. Man. I don't know. What was the box score like? Is there anybody that had like 40 points and rebounds?
For OE, no, they had pretty good balance. But man, I just think about it. They have a running clock now. When you're up by 40 in the second half, it doesn't even stop.
They must have like literally like been unable to inbound the ball. That's the only way. Like it was just like you're throwing it, you're intercepting it, laying it in the hoop, handing it to the inbounder, intercepting it, laying in the hoop. Like it's only a 32-minute game.
Right. Unreal. I guess I should have done my homework and actually watched it on the NFHS, but I didn't. I would
like to know, how did they score the 3? Did somebody just drain it, like basically tossed up a prayer and drained it?
Right. At the horn.
Yeah. Maybe they got an and one, and that's all they got. No, it's one of those things that you wonder, like, people would say, why do you keep trying to score? Why are you running the clock up? But you're just out there playing. Like, what do you want us to do? You want us to do the thing where we just hold the ball and run the clock out? Or otherwise we're playing.
Right. And everybody that gets in the action wants to play. So,
exactly.
You can't stop the bench players. Well, some other games, New Lothrop down Durand almost by 30. Caitlin Wendling had 19. Corunna got a win over Lake Fenton, 44-28. Mackenzie LeCure had 10 in that one. And Owasso, no problem against Swartz Creek, 44-12. Danica Dwyer had 21 for the Trojans in that one. And Morris down Burton Atherton 60-15. Peyton Goodine had 26 for the Orioles with 10 steals. In boys basketball, Perry down Saranac 58-51 in overtime. Anthony Cochran had 19. Any Burns playing basketball? Are they wrestling or taking the winter off?
The younger nephew, he's on the JV team. So
Okay.
he's a baller, but the older nephew, he gears up for baseball season. He's big into baseball, so takes a break from football, and he's probably already throwing.
There you go. And finally, Mount Morris over Ovid Elsie on the boys' side, 75-72. The reason I brought that up, Jared's favorite, Trace Tokar, 32 in the loss for the Marauders in that one. And the last topic.
Athlete. What an athlete.
What an athlete is right. In fact, he was named first team All-State as an athlete, you know.
It's crazy.
That's a new category they came up with.
Yeah, I love that. No, that's good. It's good that they have that.
I think it's good too. It really is. And also, finally, the Corunna Sports Hall of Fame is this Friday night over at the Corunna Gym between the boys and girls games. Corunna's playing Goodrich in the intermission between hand. They're going to honor different teams and athletes. The teams they're honoring: the 66 football team, the 98 boys track and field, along with the 99 boys track and field. Some of the athletes, they're honoring a couple of old timers, which is good to see. Stan Bosick, who was a stud in the 40s, and Gordy Sayre, who was part of that 47 team and also went and played for Biggie Munn and played in a national championship as a starter for the Spartans. So Gordy Sayre is honored as an athlete. Marshawn Honky Humphreys and, our buddy Noah Jacobs is a Hall of Famer, along with Meredith Norris. Thoughts on those selections, fellas?
Yeah, they're all good. I mean, I remember when you first announced the initial announcement, I said something along the lines of, are the only requirements to make the Hall of Fame you wear a leather helmet or you run around a track? Now, I saw somebody who did some actual research. I saw the Corunna football team, like they outscored opponents like 260-40,
right,
or something like that. So, and they still didn't get a chance to play for a state title. It's amazing. You look back on that and you go, there's literally nothing they could have done with this 9-game schedule that could have gave them a chance to win a state championship. It's kind of nuts to think about that used to be how it was.
I should do my research too, because they must have been in the rankings somewhere. I don't know if they were ranked 2 or 3. At the end of the year, it was just one team was named the AP
It was
state
a mythical. Oh, that's a joke. Yeah.
Right.
They got to be
pre-playoff. So that they definitely could have beat anybody. And their quarterback, Dave Harvey, is an honoree as a contributor to the Cavalier different programs, along with Mary Dumond, and 2 coaches were named Hall of Famers this year. Long list this season because of the COVID. There was a break between Hall of Fame classes. Dick Moffitt and John Wilcox, 2 of my favorites back when I was in school. Dick Moffitt especially. I mean, he was really a mentor to me growing up. Let me help run the Corunna Youth Little League programs. He took me under his wing and was definitely a great coach. And John Wilcox, he was like my 7th grade phys ed teacher, and he was relatively new when he came into town. And you could tell he was a cool dude, man. And he Hall of Fame resume with what he did in track and field and pole vault coaching.
Yeah. All of those people definitely deserve it, and it is cool to start getting some of the older folks in that. That maybe some of us don't remember as much, but, they definitely deserve some of the older teams and individuals. Yeah. I remember Mr. Wilcox also. He was my gym teacher and track. And I know some of my friends that ran track, and a couple specifically that were pole vaulters, talk about just how great of a coach he was, coaching them in pole vault. So he was a really fun gym teacher too. But Mr. Moffitt and Harvey were my JV football coaches, and, teachers too. I had Mr. Moffitt in middle school, Harvey in high school as teachers, but Harvey and Moffitt as my JV football coaches, probably 2 of my favorite coaches of all time, no matter what sport or whatever. That was just such a cool year, fun year of football, playing, with those 2 Corunna legends as your coach, telling their stories from back in their day and, coaching us like in an old school way. It was definitely really fun playing for Moffitt and Harv.
Are they getting plaques like on the high school like hallway, or is there any sort of actual like wall of fame?
Yeah, they're getting plaques, but I think they've changed it up a little bit. I think what they're doing is they're always going to have a rotating video, with their biographies and stuff, their picture. That's the type of thing. I think they're getting away from the plaques on the wall, I believe, from what I've heard in different meetings.
It takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
That's fair. to me, that wasn't it on this podcast we were talking about how some school just like ripped out the Hall of Fame plaques and they didn't replace them? Am I drawing a blank on this?
No. There was a school. I can't remember if it was in Michigan or it was a national story, but I think it was a school in Michigan. But I can't remember.
I guess
the
to
details.
me, in the nicest way possible, this is almost just off into the ether. You get honored and it's awesome, but like you need something to look at. You need something that where it lives. I don't know. It doesn't have to be plaques.
It could be just as simple as have a whatever it is, a board, and then you just put up those little
nameplate.
So people can see Corona High School Athletics Hall of Fame, and if they're there for a basketball game and they're going over to grab a super rope or they're going to grab some licorice or something like that, they can go, oh cool, let me check this out, and they sit there and read through it. I do agree, if you're getting put in the Hall of Fame, it would be cool to have another spot where you're kind of being remembered.
Sure. Well, I'm sure
where that is, obviously there's only so much real estate. Are you going to put it at the football field? Are you going to put it in the high school? Maybe finding a good spot for it is tough.
Right. Well, congratulations to the honorees. They'll be there Friday night. I understand from what I'm seeing on social media, there's probably going to be a pretty good turnout of family and friends. And if you like those names, come on out to the basketball games on Friday night at the Corunna Gym. All right, let's take a little break. Finish this up with a short entertainment tonight right after this.